Guys, it's Paula Natasha from Nomadic-AF. Today we are going to be talking about some must-have apps that you'll need if you're visiting Mexico. And this includes whether you're coming on vacation or coming to live here full time.
Right. I mean, these are apps that we did not come here with, and we have found over time that have saved us so much heartache, so much hassle and anguish. And it's apps, some of these apps you've heard of, others you probably haven't.
And some might be more Mexico specific.
Yeah, right. So we'll tell you the app and why you need to use it. So let's get into it.
Yeah. So first we're going to talk about apps in Mexico that are often used for communication. And the first one, and this is maybe one of the biggest apps on our list as far as importance, is WhatsApp. Now, almost everybody in Mexico uses WhatsApp, from taxi drivers to food delivery services to any friends that you meet.
Anybody you meet that's going to want to exchange information, it's going to be WhatsApp.
It's going to be WhatsApp.
Everybody down here uses it for everything.
Yeah, most people don't have, well, they do have regular cell service, but it doesn't charge them to use WhatsApp, so they use that.
Yeah, get WhatsApp installed before you come, learn how to use it. It will make your life so much easier. No matter what you want to do in Mexico, WhatsApp is going to be involved.
It's also great because it has a live sharing, so if you get lost,
yeah,
and you can share your live location with your other people in your party, and you can even see yourself walking closer to each other, so that's pretty cool.
It is. Yeah, definitely use WhatsApp in Mexico all the time.
Yeah.
Another one is, if you are not very comfortable with Spanish, Google Translate.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people won't come here because they're worried about the language barrier. Depending on where you go, you might not even matter. A lot of people speak English.
Yeah.
But if you're off the beaten path, Google Translate, just speak English into your phone. It translates it right into Spanish and repeats it. Yeah. Same with them. You can have a two-way conversation and neither of you can speak each other's language.
I will say that you should download the offline version. If you are off the beaten path, you're probably not going to have Wi-Fi to use it.
Right. And another thing is, it's also built into WhatsApp. So if you need to type in Spanish,
oh, that's true.
Google Translate is a part of WhatsApp.
Yep.
So the next couple apps we're going to talk about is for lodging. I mean, if you're just here on a week's vacation, you probably got everything figured out. But you would be surprised at how often shit happens. So if you are here and you're like apartment floods, or they don't accept your reservation at the hotel and you're just sitting there not knowing what to do.
This has happened to us a couple times. Can you
tell?
More
than a couple. Yeah, and it's happened to other people. We see it a lot.
Yeah.
First one, just install Booking, the Booking app. I mean, any hotel, especially if it's an emergency, you can get in within a couple hours. Just load up the information where you're at, find a hotel in your price range, book it, and go. You don't even need a credit.
Yeah, you can pay. That's what I was going to say too. Yeah, you can pay when you get there.
Yeah, you don't even need to add your credit card. You just pay when you show up.
Yeah.
And another is the Airbnb app.
Yeah.
As often as we don't use it, it has come in handy because we have been stranded somewhere where a hotel didn't accept our reservation. Mm-hmm. There are no hotels in the area. Just get on the Airbnb app. Super easy. If you don't have Wi-Fi, you can still use your data.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand, like, things go wrong when you travel, and you don't have to freak out that you don't have a place to live. With these two apps, you can be in a new place within the hour.
Airbnb the app is a great way also to check out other locations and kind of even pinpoint where you might want to be based on price and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, so these two apps definitely take a look at.
We always have them on our phone.
All right, let's talk about some apps for getting around Mexico. Mexico has a number of apps that you can use for rides and getting. The first is, a lot of places don't have Uber and Didi. If you're in some smaller areas, they may not have it. you're going to want to look up an app for your city's radio taxi. Every city has a radio taxi app.
And they use WhatsApp for
And they use WhatsApp for that also. So you'll open up the app, it'll figure out where you're at, and you just order a taxi from there. If you can't wave down a taxi, or if you're out in the boonies and can't find one, or Uber won't come get you, radio taxi always works.
Yeah, and you can even check in, like, how far are they?
Right. So first of all, radio taxis. Second,
Uber and Didi are both rideshare apps, and as well as one that I think might be specific only to Mexico is InDrive.
InDrive.
InDrive. Yeah, all three of those. I like to have them all on my phone because they all have different perks, and some work in different cities than other ones. Like, for example, Uber, I can charge to my credit card, while the Didi app, I have to pay cash.
But it's cheaper.
So I like to have all three on my phone just for emergencies.
Yeah, definitely install Uber, Didi, and InDrive.
Yeah.
Because based on where you're at, Uber may not be there yet, or Didi may not be there yet, or the Uber is taking too long. You know, anything. To be stuck somewhere without a ride is pretty horrifying.
Yeah,
especially
it's pretty scary
if you don't speak the language. So download all three of these apps because you never know which one is going to work where you're at.
Yeah, for example, we were in Progresso and we tried to use the Didi app, and it was the same two drivers all over the city every time we tried to use the app, so it was a very brand new app.
Yeah, if they were on the other side of the city, we weren't getting a ride for a while.
Yeah.
So one more getting around app, everybody's usually already has it, is Google Maps, but set it to offline.
Yes.
Install it and set it to offline, because a lot of times your Wi-Fi or your data is going to go out and you will be screwed not knowing which way you're going.
Yeah, just waiting for the thing to spin, trying to figure out where
Even though it's GPS based, it needs data unless it's offline.
Wi-Fi, yeah.
So set Google Maps up. Do not rely on it for restaurant hours or locations or stuff like that, just for getting around.
Yeah, and you have to, for the offline, you have to download the city that you're going to be in. You can't just download the whole world.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are some of the getting around apps you're definitely going to want to use when you're here in Mexico.
Yeah. So if you are hungry while you're here in Mexico, which you will be, and you don't feel like getting out of your hotel or off the resort or whatever apartment you've rented, there are a few apps that you can get home delivery to.
Not just food, but groceries, medicine, water delivered, everything you can imagine delivered.
Yeah, sometimes I'll even be getting off the plane and ordering stuff to our Airbnb, so I'll have all the staples being delivered as we're getting off the plane.
Yep. So these apps are Uber Eats, Didi. Didi has two apps. So there's the ride-sharing app and the Didi Eats app. So Uber Eats, Didi Eats, and Rappi. And depending on where you're at, you're not going to have access to all of these. Uber isn't everywhere. Didi isn't everywhere. Rappi is pretty much everywhere.
It is, but also some of the restaurants you might not be on that specific app.
Right. Uber Eats tends to have the major restaurants, the high-end, not high-end, but
your
the bigger
Wingstops and McDonald's and Pizza Hut, that kind of thing.
Right. Whereas Rappi will have Al Pastor tacos.
More localized.
Yeah. So get those three apps, because you're not always going to want to go out. Sometimes you just want to chill, get some breakfast delivered. Any one of these apps will get it done for you.
Yeah. All right, so these next couple of apps are not exactly necessary, but they're definitely nice to have, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, in Mexico, they're Mexico-specific apps that will make your life a little easier.
You can probably delete them when you go home.
Yeah. So one of them is Sassla, Sassla.
Oh, wow.
And this is this is a earthquake detection app. And if you are traveling to the Pacific coast, or central Mexico, like Oaxaca especially,
Mexico City.
Mexico City especially, earthquakes happen. In Oaxaca, earthquakes are quite common. Maybe not so big that you feel it.
Yeah, you can get up to like 3 a day, I
Yeah.
think.
So what this app does is it measures the earthquakes in your area and it alerts you to say, look, something might be coming. Like we've had 3 small quakes, which might be a big quake later.
An indicator of
An
something
indicator.
bigger, yeah.
And it does give you notice. I've been woken up in the middle of the night with a beeping, and it was in Oaxaca, and there was an earthquake. I mean, it was minor, but it does let you know. And if you are, the whole world is crumbling around, you're wondering what the hell is going on.
At least you got some
At least
semblance
you've
of
got
an
some
idea.
warning, right? And we have been rushed outside before in Mexico City because of this app. So just this SASSLA, SASSLA, it gives you warning when earthquakes are coming, and if you're in central Mexico, you're going to need that information.
Yeah, be prepared.
Yeah.
So the next one is XE Currency Exchange. I'll put the little app logo up there. But this is a great one to have because it gives you exact, like the most up to minute update on what the exchange rate is from Canadian dollars or US dollars or whatever you're using to Mexican pesos. And it's very convenient because if you're shopping and you see some sandals you like and someone says they're 700 pesos, you can pop in 700 pesos and find out that it's going to be 35 bucks and then decide if you want to spend 35 bucks on those sandals.
It's a great way to understand the conversion, because not understanding the conversion rate will lose you so much money.
It'll lose you so much money, and it'll just be frustrating too.
Right. And on this note, another app to go along with it in Mexico is the Billetes MX, BILL, whatever, I don't know. Billetes MX. And what it does is it shows you every single bill in circulation in Mexico, the 20, the 50, the 100, 200, 500. It shows you the front, it shows you the back, it shows you the security features. So if you're worried that you might be getting a counterfeit bill, just pull this app up and set it next to it, and you should be able to tell exactly what you're getting.
Yep.
And if you use it in conjunction with the XE app, you can say, this is what a 500 bill looks like, and this is exactly what it's worth.
Yeah.
And that way, even before you get to Mexico, you have a really good idea of what bill you need to pay something with and how much that bill is worth exactly.
Yep.
And using these 2 apps in conjunction will save you money.
Yeah. So another nice to have app is going to be a VPN. And this depends. If you're on vacation, it's nice to have. If you live here, it's kind of a must.
It is. It really is.
And this isn't just for watching the Netflix you want to watch.
Which we do.
Which is sometimes what we do with our VPN. But anytime you want to do any kind of banking or any kind of bureaucracy, taxes that needs done, basically anything that you would need to validate yourself or something, you need a VPN.
Yeah, you really do. The VPN will trick the other website into you thinking that you're in the States. So if you try to access your bank in Mexico, you might get your bank account shut down.
Yeah.
Install a good VPN. We don't get paid for this. I think, what do we use?
Nord.
We use NordVPN. I mean, it works. We had so many problems accessing PayPal. Install the VPN, done. Works perfectly.
No more problems.
So if you're traveling outside of the States and you have websites in the States you need to access, get a VPN.
And Nord is a good one for Mexico because I have tried a ton of them and a lot of them just haven't worked, and you really won't know till you have your feet on the ground.
If you're vacationing, you can get a free one. If you're moving, you really should pay for a decent one.
Absolutely. Another nice to have app is going to be any kind of weather app. Now, you're going to have to kind of take weather apps with a grain of salt because they're right about 50% of the time, I'd say. But if it says it's going to rain that day, generally in Mexico, that doesn't mean it's going to rain unless there's like a hurricane on the horizon or something like that. It doesn't mean it's going to rain all day long. It means it's going to start raining about 3 or 4 p.m. So get all your stuff done and get home before then and be dry.
If you just Google the weather and it says rain today, you're probably going to be bummed, canceling plans or whatever. Whereas these apps, it will say
They're more
sun,
specific. Yeah.
until 3 o'clock, then rain.
Yeah, they'll give you by the hour.
And they'll also give you UV information. So if the UV
Yes.
is high, you need to know about
Pollution.
that. Pollen count.
Yeah.
So all these things are really nice to know before you go out for the day. Install a really good weather app that gives you all the information you need. That way your day's not jacked up when you're planning stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. And another weird app that I'm not a big fan of, Facebook.
I think this is the last one too.
It is. So, but get on Facebook and join whatever city you're in, the expat groups. If you're going to Playa del Carmen, join all these expats of Playa del Carmen groups. Because if you're out and you're craving a taco, seafood taco, if you type into one of these Facebook groups, where's the best seafood taco in Playa del Carmen? You're going to get a million replies in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and you can just have any random question too. Like, I found this type of scorpion in my room. Is this kind deadly here in freaking Playa del Carmen? Well, most of the locals will probably know, like, oh, that one's fine,
But
whatever.
you will have questions when you get here, and that's the quickest way to get them answered is to join these.
You need a carpenter or whatever.
Yeah.
These Facebook groups are a lifesaver sometimes.
They really are. So even if you don't use Facebook, download the app, join the expat groups for the city you're in, and they have a wealth of information.
Yeah, they already have their feet on the ground.
Yep. All right, so these are apps that we've been using for the past 13 years, actually the past 8 years.
Yeah.
We didn't know some of them even existed before we got here, and they have been so much help. So if you're planning a vacation, a retire, a scouting trip, or any trip to Mexico, give some thought to some of these apps and install them, get to learn to use them. That way when you're on the ground, you're not taken by surprise by a problem.
If there's any apps that we missed, let us know in the comments
Yes,
too.
if you've got a favorite app you use, for sure let us know. All right, safe travels.